So when the pandemic first began in the United States, no one really knew what to expect. We had seen what had happened in Asia. We saw what had happened in Europe, and those weren't good stories. And we were doing our best to make certain that story wasn't replicated, at least in where we are in this part of the country. Our first and most important goal in taking care of the pandemic was to make certain that our patients were well cared for. But in order to do that, we had to also make certain that our team members and our medical staffs were well cared for. And it's something that people recognized and appreciated. It cost us huge amounts of money from a financial standpoint, and that's why the charity and the donations that people make, they were essential during this period of time. We were able to keep our team members on and make certain that the hospitals were well staffed and that the clinics could see people, and we think it's been the right thing to do, and it's one thing that we could not have done without the support of people like yourself. There's no question about that. The next thing that we had to face with the pandemic was how we were going to deal with all the different expenses and things that were associated with it. And we could not have done what we did without the support of people like yourself. The donations that people made, the ability to actually purchase the protective equipment for the team members taking care of patients. That was a huge advantage to our team members. And they appreciated that. They knew that. Whether they be doctors or nurses or people involved in environmental services or in the lab, pharmacy, it doesn't matter. They're people that really are true heroes. They take care of patients at great risk to themselves. And our goal was to try and minimize that risk by getting them all the equipment they needed. Other things like testing were enormously expensive, and we were able to find a way to do that. We now have the ability to run in-house testing for the virus. Again, huge expense that you all helped us with in terms of making certain that we could provide that quick, immediate results feedback so that both our patients were well cared for and our team members knew what they were dealing with. So people can't thank you enough for that. That was really great. So the pandemic had very real effects on the healthcare system. Some of it was actually a positive effect. It allowed people to rally around hospitals and realize the people that worked here were just great people and very dedicated and put their own lives at risk in terms of taking care of patients as they did each and every day. But it also had many negative effects. It had effects on the stress and the toll it took on the frontline caregivers caring for these patients. It had a lot of negative effects on the patients themselves and their families because visiting hours had to be restricted. It also had negative effects on the financial situation of all healthcare systems. So in Riverside, for example, so far as a result of the pandemic, we've lost about $120 million in income. Now, the good news is that the government support for that has been very meaningful and has allowed us to make up well over half of that. And so that's been very helpful. And we've been able to reduce other expenses that have gone a long way to getting us to where we need to go. We haven't done what other health systems have done, which is to do layoffs or do furloughs. We didn't think that was the right thing to do, but we still faced a significant gap, and the support that you all have helped us with donations and philanthropy, and that the foundation has help lead, have been very meaningful parts of our plan of finance as we get through this pandemic. So people ask, what does the future hold? This whole thing began around St. Patrick's Day, and the question is, when will it be over, and how do we see ourselves getting from here to the point where life is somewhat more close to normal? Ultimately, it'll be a vaccine that helps us. So we are more optimistic about the future than we were in March. We're more confident about our ability to treat patients like this. We know the clinical results we produce are going to be far superior to what we experienced in March because our understanding and our technology that we can deploy against the virus has grown. And so we feel increasingly confident about the future. And as I say, we can't thank you enough for your support. It's been a meaningful part of why we're confident about the future. Thank you.